We're going to work problem 9-21 from pages 434 and 435 of the textbook. So this is just doing a flex budget and cost variances. It's a not-for-profit and they don't have any revenue, so we're only doing costs, okay? But clearly if it was an organization that had a revenue stream, it would have a top line like the one we did in our lecture video for the chapter. So let's just do this, and I'm going to share my screen with you because I'm going to work it in Excel and show you a picture of what the book looks like so you can see the problem. I just need to share the screen right now. Okay, it looks shared. Okay, there we go. All right, so first of all, let's look at the problem. So this is the problem, and it's a blood bank, and it's a blood bank, and they all they do is just collect blood and then they give it away. So their driver of everything is liters of blood collected. Okay, now they have got several expenses, right? And they have done a budget, right? So they did a planning budget right here, right? And when they did their planning budget, they based it on collecting 500 liters of blood. All right, and then here's how they feel like they should have turned out, right? Expenses $28,750. Okay, but they actually collected 620, quite a bit more, and they had expenses of $31,450. So if you just look at the variance from the planning budget to the actual results, right here, they have an unfavorable variance, okay, 2790. So the book kind of says, oh, the director's not happy about this. Right, they go to this little part here, says, oh, they're not happy, and what are we going to do about it? And so you go, well, so somebody smart like you would say, well, this is nothing, right? This cost variance of 2790 could be totally based on the activity variance, but we don't know because we don't have an activity variance yet. Or it could be actually a spending variance that we need to look into. But with what we've got here, just the actual results in our static budget at 500, our actual results at 620, we can't pick that piece of the puzzle up and tell, is it just an activity variance? Is it a spending variance? What's going on? So we're gonna prepare a flexible budget performance report, right? And look at this, right? So we're gonna take these cost formulas right here, right? Here they are. And we are gonna use these numbers. In these numbers, we need to know our planning budget and our actual result. I mean, we still need to know these numbers too, right? So we're going to take these and use them to prepare a flexible budget, and that will let us look at our activity variances, and that will let us look at our spending variances. And there's not going to be a revenue variance because it's a blood bank. They just give the stuff away. All right, so let's go out. I've transferred these numbers to this spreadsheet here, right? So the numbers we have from the book, I've stuck them in here. So really all we have to worry about filling out, right, are we do the flexible variance first, right? Then we can get our activity variances, then we can get our spending variances, and then we can look at the second part of the problem, which is what do we think? How did they do? Right? Okay. So planning budget was calculated based on a quantity of 50, right? I'm sorry, 500. The actual results were 620. So our flexible budget is going to be based on 620, right? Now we take the numbers we used, we take the formulas that prepared this, right? So all of this, right, was prepared, that's a little too dark, was prepared using these formulas, right? So the same formulas we used to prepare our planning budget, we're going to use these formulas to prepare this flexible budget, okay? So we're going to use the 620 for the Q. For this planning budget, we used 500 for the Q and came up with these numbers that are here, right? But with a flexible budget, you use your actual results as your Q, right? And then recalculate the numbers with the original cost formulas. So if medical supplies are $15 times quantity, right? So that means that's equal to, I guess that's not its own thing. I can't really do that. Well, I can do is equal to that times 15. So that's 9,300, right? So the difference in the flexible budget is 9,300. So then that's equal to 620 times 12, right? So our lab test is off by 7440, right? Not off by 7440. That's what we would predict. I'm sorry. These numbers are what we would predict if we had known we were going to do 620, right? So based on the same numbers I used to predict these, 15 per quantity for supplies, 12 per quantity for lab tests, and so on. If I had known we would do 620, my planning budget would look like this, okay? So this is equal to just $2,500, right? And this is fixed, this is 1,000. Utilities are fixed, they're 500. Administration is a mixed cost. It's 10,000 plus 250 times the quantity. So that's equal to 620 times 2.5 plus what? 10,000. All right, so the difference is not the difference, sorry. What I would predict under a flexible budget at 620 would be 11,550. All right, so I have flexed my budget now. I guess I need to sum that. $32.90. All right, so now I've got 3 sets of numbers to look at, right? I've got my actual results, right? I've got my planning budget, which we already had, right? And now I've done my flexible budget. And to do that flexible budget, I took my actual quantity, but my original formulas, right? So the formulas I used to predict this, I used to predict this. So this is telling me, hey, right, what a flexible budget tells you is, if I had known I was going to do 620, or if I had been a better estimator and had estimated 620, this is what I would have predicted my budget to be. All right, so now we can look at our variances. All right, so I can take the difference between them, right, and come up with a number, and I can see if the difference is, I can see what part of the difference is due to simply the fact that we, instead of doing 500, we did 620. That's what's called an activity variance. So that's equal to 9,300 minus 7,500 Oh, maybe that's not a number. It's the string. See, it's got a dollar sign in front of it. Okay, so all right. There we go. All right, problem that was easy to solve. So 1800 is the variance. All right, now these are all costs, right? So when a cost is bigger, that's going to make it an unfavorable variance. But it's based on activity, right? Same thing with this. So the lab test difference is equal to the 7,440 minus the 6,000. So we got a 1,440 difference. And yes, when a cost is higher than what you predict, it is unfavorable. But again, this is an activity variance, right? So really and truly, it doesn't mean that much. It just means this is what it is would be based on the activities, right? And so there's 0 here, and 1,000, there's 0 there, and utilities is the same, so nothing there. So our administrative expenses is equal to 11,550 minus 11,250. What is your problem? I guess you don't like that there's a formula in there. All right. Well, 11,550 minus, well, that's pretty easy to fit. That's 300. All right. So 11,550 minus 11,250 is 300. All right. And if we sum these all up, 1,800 plus 1,440 plus 300. Oh, what did I do here? $3,540. And again, it's bigger than what we planned for. So it is an unfavorable variance. And you know, I don't think that's a big deal. Let's see here. Let's see what the percentage increase. This is not part of the problem, but I'm just kind of curious. We went from is equal to, because we need the brackets. 620 minus 500 divided by 500, 24%. So so the increase is 24%, right? And so you would expect to see that over here, right? I don't know, what am I doing? Oh, I don't have to take, I already got the difference, is equal to this divided by this 12%. So the total expenses really only increased 12%. So, you know, that activity is pretty good. All right, so we would expect that. It's not that big of a deal. But let's look at our spending variances and see if we can find something there. So we're just taking the difference between our between what we predicted and between what we spent, right? So the difference, so this is equal to 9,300 minus the 11. Oh, you got that string there again. All right, there we go. So 50 bucks. I would not say that's a big variance. Equal to 7,440 minus that. So, I mean, and these are, I guess I should put these in the other column. Well, okay, so that's a favorable, right? Because our actual results were less than what we predicted. right? This is what we're predicting, 9,300. This is what we actually spent. Same thing with lab tests, right? We predicted 7,440, but we actually spent 6,120. Those are equal to 2,500 minus 2,800. So that's unfavorable, right? When a cost is higher. I guess I shouldn't put a sign on that. All right. But we actually spent more, right, than we imagined we would, which that's kind of weird. Depreciation, you should be able to exactly predict. Maybe they bought a new machine, and they had a new thing to depreciate that they hadn't planned on or something. I don't really know. Anyway, rent, there was no difference. Utilities, there's a $70 unfavorable, right? We spent a little more. When you spend more, it's unfavorable. And administration is, I'll just take the difference minus that. I don't know why it doesn't like that. 90, okay. So, and that, so we thought we would spend 11,550, we spent 11,740, so that's technically unfavorable. It's not like it's huge or anything. And the difference between these two is 750, and that is actually a favorable variance, right? Because on total, we spent less than we predicted we would at 620. So actually, right, when the guy was looking at this and said, hey, we got a 12,790 unfavorable variance, right here, that's bad. No, really, what he had was, and remember, this is all expenses, this didn't even involve revenue, he had a 750 favorable spending variance. So the next part of the question here, right, the next part of the question says, do you think any of the variances should be investigated? Right, so that's where we're going to start using our logic, right? So I would have to say that for the most part, I would have expected unfavorable variances, and I did get unfavorable variances. I mean, I wouldn't really expect them. I expect them to be about the same, but maybe a little bit unfavorable, right? You usually spend more than you think, but they aren't, I would not say those were huge. And a depreciation, I mean, you're kind of choosing your depreciation, right? So you must have bought a new, or it's not even a cash expense, so, who cares? Like I said, they must have bought a new machine or something. Because depreciation, you should be able to, I mean, you choose that, so you should be able to get that right on. $70 variance, what's that? Equals 70 divided by 500, 14%, nothing. This variance, though, that's kind of a big variance. When you think about 1260 divided by what we predicted, that's a 17% variance, which is a lot for 1 month. 17% in a month. I mean, if you annualize that, that's a lot, right? But it's a favorable variance, right? So I might be concerned because I don't understand what's going on. I mean, lab tests cost $12 each. We did 620. They should have cost 7,440. did we forget to do some lab tests? Is there some blood out there that didn't get its lab test? What's going on? Did the laboratory forget to send us a bill and now we're going to get a bill next month and it's going to mess up our cash flow? Did we get a big discount? Is our accounting bad? Did we not pay an invoice? I mean, I would probably investigate that, and especially because it's something that involves testing of a medical item, you want to make sure you did those tests. So I think the only thing that would be that interesting to me would be the lab tests having a 17% favorable variance. And it's not like I go, oh yeah, yay, favorable. It's like, wait, this is kind of a standard that we need to follow, testing all the liters of blood. Every liter of blood is supposed to be tested. Should cost me $12 each. What's going on here? So that could be a problem. Even though we ended up with a favorable variance, we could have a problem of some other kind. So that's why you want to look at all of them and really use your brain and logic those out. So with that, I think I'll let you go and work on that for your homework. Be sure and get in touch if you do have any questions.